GameSHOUT.com.
You're listening to GameSHOUT Radio. We sure have come a long way from actually dialing a number on the phone. You can even play games on your mobile phone in this new age. And hey, what better way to know about new mobile games than with GameSHOUT's Pocket Players Mobile Edition mini podcast? Hear the latest and greatest innovations in mobile technology and games. Find out how these mobile games fare before you go out and buy them. Learn about new games on their way to the mobile scene. You can hear all about the games, news, previews, and reviews that matter from the only gaming site that really matters. GameSHOUT.com. You're listening to GameSHOUT Radio. We sure have come a long way from actually dialing a number on the phone. You can even play games on your mobile phone in this new age. And hey, what better way to know about new mobile games than with GameSHOUT's Pocket Players Mobile Edition mini podcast? Hear the latest and greatest innovations in mobile technology and games. Find out how these mobile games fare before you go out and buy them. Learn about new games on their way to the mobile scene. You can hear all about the games, news, previews, and reviews that matter from the only gaming site that really matters. GameSHOUT.com.
And now, it's time for the GameSHOUT technology news and reviews. Taking your questions live, the GameSHOUT Technology Show.
And welcome back to GameSHOUT Radio. This is Technology Weekly, brought to you by Newegg.com, and I am your host for this technology show, Soulrift. Oh, yeah.
Yay, Soulrift! Well, that's what some people say.
Well, you know, we've got some excellent technology news and some talking about video card technology, the SLI versus the Crossfire. You know, it's been the next big hype thing to double up your video cards and hopefully double your frame rate. But we've also got a lot of other interesting technology news, including a very important notice. And that is the first major virus of the year has been tracked down, and instead of being some high-tech virus that really infects a system through some little-known exploit in the operating system, no, it's just a plain old email worm, an old VB thing. You get it in the email, you think it's a picture, and you double-click on it, and it infects your system. It's been named Nixim.e. It was discovered on January 20th, and it spreads by convincing users to open an executable attachment in their email with tempting subject lines such as Arab sex, Miss Lebanon 2006, or schoolgirls' fantasies gone bad. So if you've received an email with a subject like this, if you've tried to look at the porn, well, you're out of luck.
Dang.
Oh yes, the power of porn prevails, or at least the temptation of it. And
so that's why my computer keeps crashing.
Well, it shouldn't have crashed anything yet. In fact, this has a very specific payload on this virus. Instead of trying to actually crash your computer or make things not work, what it does, and it executes on the third day of each month, so February 3rd will be this virus's big hit. What it does is it destroys your data. It searches for all Word files, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, Acrobat, Photoshop, and all sorts of other data files, including zipped archives, and then replaces all the data with just the text string, data error, and then a bunch of hex codes.
Huh.
That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
So you're going to turn on your computer, or you know, some people is going to turn on their computer on February 3rd and try to open up their PowerPoint presentation for the big corporate investment meeting, and all of a sudden it just says data error. Oh no, everything's gone, and it's all because they tried to find some free porn.
Oh, that is so
Arab
sad.
porn.
Oh yes, Miss Lebanon 2006. Well,
so what I want to see.
yes. Well, you know, F-Secure, one of these sites that tracks these things, estimates that the number of machines already infected are around 500,000. And as of Sunday night, and the worm is accounting for about 35% of traffic, of virus traffic over the internet as of Monday morning. So this thing, it you know, of course, like a lot of these email viruses, it searches your computer for email address lists, and then sends itself out to all those other happy victims on your address book. And that's the next big virus warning. And you know, if you don't have a good virus scanner and you are trying to open up free porn that shows up in your email, you might want to consider investing in some sort of virus protection and trying to clean this one out.
Might be a good idea, huh, guys?
Might be a good idea, yes. Well, we've also been tracking the big HD DVD versus Blu-ray war, with all the different form factors of different companies supporting different releases, and they finally agreed on something. Both HD DVD, yes, both HD DVD and Blu-ray have agreed that they want to prevent piracy by reducing the signal available on analog connections from standard high-definition resolution of 1920 by 1080 down to low-resolution 960 by 540. So unless you've invested in a high-definition television with a digital connection, and you're instead using an analog connection, well, you're just SOL, as we like to say. So
so out of luck.
So out of luck. Yes, that's what it stands for. So out of luck. This has to do with the AACS specification, the Advanced Access Content System, which will actually scan what the DVD is being connected to, whether it's a digital connection, which can be secured, or if it's just an analog connection, which can be diverted into various recorders. So, of course, they don't want you to buy an HD DVD or a Blu-ray player, get a movie on it, and then play this nice high quality high def thing into something analog like a VHS cassette. Oh heavens, you might pirate it at high full resolution onto a VHS cassette. So no, they have the resolution, so it looks a quarter as nice as it used to when you back it up illegally onto a VHS cassette. Sometimes this movie industry just floors me. And frankly, get this, they're all MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America. You know how they're all after piracy, right? Well, they've been caught pirating.
No way.
Yes. The MPAA has admitted to making unauthorized copies of the documentary film This Film Is Not Yet Rated in advance of this week's Sundance Film Festival. Can you believe it? They've taken a film, the director sent them a film so that it can be rated. His film was literally called This Film Is Not Yet Rated, and it received a rating of NC-17, but he sent them a single copy and he said, do not copy this, because of course he has to send it in to get rated, and sure enough they copied it and shared it with everyone. Hey, check out this great film.
Oh my gosh.
No. So,
that's
there's
kind of
the
ridiculous.
MPAA. And the real irony about it is this film is about how the MPAA really has double standards about how they rate their films, and here they are double standarding again with their own anti-copying thing. Well, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on GameSHOUT Radio with a whole lot more technology right after this.
You're listening to GameSHOUT Radio. We sure have come a long way from actually dialing a number on the phone. You can even play games on your mobile phone in this new age. And hey, what better way to know about new mobile games than with GameSHOUT's Pocket Players Mobile Edition mini podcast? Hear the latest and greatest innovations in mobile technology and games. Find out how these mobile games fare before you go out and buy them. Learn about new games on their way to the mobile scene. You can hear all about the games, news, previews, and reviews that matter from the only gaming site that really matters. GameSHOUT.com.
Hey, welcome back to GameSHOUT Radio. This is Technology Weekly, brought to you by Newegg.com. I am your host, Soulrift, and we are covering all sorts of great technology news. We just mentioned the anti-piracy laws being floated by the MPAA, and yet on the same side, they've recently proposed even more things to protect them from piracy. In fact, the RIAA and MPAA, the music and movie guys, have gotten together, and they want to make legislation into the government to prevent people from using something that is not part of its, and this is the term, customary historic use. Yeah, so fair use, out the window, customary historic use, this is how they're going to stop it. In other words, this is what they've asked for legislation, that the customary historic use of broadcast content by consumers to the extent that such use is consistent with applicable law and that prevents redistribution of copyrighted content over digital networks. In other words, if anything that you've copywritten does anything heretofore unheard of with digital content, then it's illegal. So, in other words, if anyone invents anything that does anything with movies or music, it's illegal. Moreover, if you invent anything that could possibly lead to unauthorized distribution, like you invent a new way of transferring files over the internet, that's also illegal. So all our bases are now covered. If you invent anything new, it's now illegal.
Well,
I just can't get over it.
Me. I mean, just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's preventing technology or innovation.
It is totally. They're just saying, we don't want any more innovation because all this innovation stuff is just costing us money. They want the entire world to just stop inventing stuff and just to sit here and consume movies for all eternity, just the way we always do.
Now, somehow I doubt this will really pass.
Yeah, that's true.
Won't.
It may not
I
pass,
can't see how.
Yeah,
if
is
it does,
pretty far front.
I'm leaving the country.
Come on up here to Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yes. Well, Canada also has odd restrictions. During the recent Canadian election, the Canadian Broadcast Corporation put a moratorium out on their debate coverage, preventing any TV political satires from using clips of the debate in order to make fun of the candidates and their platforms. Of course, that law does not apply in the States, and many American political satires, including The Daily Show, played some clips of the Canadian election debate coverage, making thorough fun of it, and aside from receiving a firmly worded letter from the CBC, there's no action has been taken.
Oh, man.
Right. Well, in our final main story here for just tonight, we're going to take a quick look at ATIs Crossfire. And as you may or may not know, by doubling up your video cards, there's a hope of doubling up your frame rate. And this has been really popular with nVidia and SLI. And all you have to do is get two nVidia cards. They don't even have to be the same level of card, the same power. You can put a 6800 and a 7800 as long as they're part of the PCIe generation that are qualified for SLI support. And you just stick them in your motherboard, any old motherboard, even mid-range motherboards that have PCIe. I mean, they don't have to be specially designed, and off you go, enjoying a whole bunch of extra frame rate. Well, ATI recently re-released their Crossfire technology in an effort to kind of catch up with nVidia, and they're still lagging behind pretty badly, because although they're getting relatively good frame rates out of their technology is a real pain to use. First of all, you've got to get a motherboard that supports Crossfire. That's usually based off one of their ATI chipsets. Secondly, you have to get a video card that supports Crossfire. You can't just get any old two ATI cards. You have to get one normal card and one master card with a special Crossfire chip on it. Thirdly, on top of all this pain in the ass inside the computer, you've got to patch the two video cards together with an external cable. I mean, how bulky and awkward is that? Just like straight out of the old days of the 3DFX two Voodoo 2s. It was cool at the time. Nowadays, it just, it's an ugly, awkward solution. So, despite all those problems, the ATI Crossfire will work. You can, get significantly better frame rates. For example, various tests in Quake 4, with a single X1800 got 54 frames per second, and with a dual card X1800, they got 96 frames per second. So it's not exactly doubling it, but it is getting very close to that, maybe 80-90% increase. But, frankly, with the cost of the ATI cards, especially the high-end ones, the fact that the special Crossfire cards not only cost more but are really hard to find, and the fact that the nVidia solution is just so much faster and easier, if you really have to go double carding, you're probably better off with nVidia's SLI solution over ATI's Crossfire. Well, hopefully, third time's a charm. Maybe next Crossfire will actually work out better. But that's it for our Technology Weekly. This has been Soulrift and GameSHOUT Radio. We've got a whole lot more coming up, so stay tuned to GameSHOUT Radio.
This is GameSHOUT Radio, the #1 talk game station in the world. Visit GameSHOUT.com for more info. GameSHOUT. GameSHOUT.